Need advice. Fast. OP overheard his wife and his military buddies' wives giggling and talking about their affairs, humiliating OP and his buddies. So, they implored everyone's lives and divorced them all at the same time. Now, one affair partner ended himself. OP's wife tried the same but failed, and the wife's friend, who encouraged everyone, got hit by the karma train. Lost her job, son, was disowned by family, and became homeless, while OP's ex's family forced him to take his ex-wife back because he had punished her enough already. Let me start by stating that I am not a Reddit user, and I do not know the protocols of posting or asking for advice here. So I am a SF member and have been on 3 tours. I have been away from states for months at a time. I got married when I was 24 years old. I am now 36. My squad is of 6 members and have been together for a while. Whenever we are in the States, me and my squad get together for a barbecue almost every month. 3 days ago, we were on one of these get-togethers. I was with my friends at my friend's place, and our wives were at my place drinking in their own get-together. We all have houses in the same neighborhood near base. So after about an hour since we started cooking steak, we realized the beer was still at my place. So I walked past the street to get to my place. I went around because I had to grab something from the shed and entered through the back door near the kitchen. That's when I hear our wives giggling. I got curious, so I heard as I was picking up beer. I heard they were talking about their affairs and how they thought their affair partners were cute and whose D was bigger, and how they did it at our houses, in our cars, and at their places. Giving each other advice on which hotels are better and cheaper and how to keep their burner phones hidden. When I heard all that, I almost went into shock. I was almost paralyzed. I have been shot 3 times, and I can tell you it doesn't hurt as much as listening to all that. It was as if I got hit by lightning. During training, we are taught to switch off our emotions to think calmly and rationally. To not let emotions cloud our thinking. It's like flipping a switch. So I switched off my emotions and didn't confront them. I picked up beer and went to my friend's place. I just stayed quiet. My friends got worried, but I didn't say anything. I have been thinking since then. I know I am divorcing my wife, but I don't know if I should tell my friends all this. I don't know if I should hurt them anymore. We have been hurt a lot already. Please, someone give me input on what I should do. Should I let them live this lie in blissful ignorance, or hurt them through truth? Many have suggested that I tell them, so I will. Update 1. Going to work. So this is update 1 to my story. If anyone is curious about the context of this post, please look at my previous post in my profile. Sorry for not posting for a while, but I thought I didn't want our wives to find my posts on Reddit. I didn't want to alert them that we knew. But after snooping through their browser histories and bookmarks, we discovered none of them uses Reddit. So here's what happened. After the helpful advice I received from wonderful people in this community, I immediately contacted my CO and alerted him about what's about to happen. He just sighed and told me that he went through a similar situation and understands. He also told me that he will get us leaves to sort our lives. And then he gave me contact information for a legal firm that's absolutely best at dealing with this kind of situation. In my state, it's legal to record everything as long as it's with the consent of the owner of the house or car, which is me. I rigged my home and car with a surveillance system to protect from any risk of break-in or insurance fraud. But because those situations didn't happen, I never really checked those recordings, and the old ones were just being written over. I replaced 4 x 2 terabytes HDDs from the house and 1 x 2 terabytes HDD in my car as soon as possible to save as much evidence as I could. The next thing I did was call my buddies over to a single friend's house, lock doors, take away their personal arms, and basically just lay it all out. I told them everything, including the recording of the meeting our wives had. The next few hours were very hard. It started with shock and disbelief. I saw battle-hardened warriors whimper and shocked like a child would be on a battlefield. Then came rage, which was even harder to deal with. My and my single buddy had to restrain them from going ballistic for a few hours. Then came despair. They then started to tell stories about how they saw some red flags before that they dismissed, always thinking that it's impossible, how they thought their marriage was great, and that it couldn't possibly happen to me. But now all the dots were starting to connect. Some of the stories I heard were truly terrifying and heartbreaking. My friend with a 6-year-old son also told me about how his son looks different, and his worry that he might not actually be his biological son. That one truly hurt. That day all we had was each other to hang on to, and we had each other's backs like always. My buddy went into his cellar and brought a case of some really good liquor that day. We needed it, So we all got blackout drunk and passed out. Next day, when we woke up, we made breakfast, took some meds for hangover, and as soon as we got better, I saw the switch flip for all of my buddies. All expressions left their faces. It's like we were out there surrounded by hostiles. We gathered, and I explained my plan, how I wanted to unleash Armageddon upon those that hurt us so badly. And they all immediately agreed that this would be our best course of action. So our action plan went like this. Assume full poker face. Go full undercover. Gather all data storage devices from our homes and quietly replace them. 2 of us would then sift through all the data and compile detailed analysis at my buddy's home. Snoop around for WW laptops and cell phones and install spyware on them. Get tracker data for last year from the tracking company. Get bank statements and credit card reports. Get in touch with base legal and inform them about our situation and get advice on what that means for our pensions, etc. Meet lawyers from legal firms and retain them as soon as possible and tell them to prepare papers as fast as possible. 2 of us would find and stalk our WWs to get information about their affair partners. Research on how to go nuclear without burning ourselves. Reddit helps a lot. Research WW's possible reactions to all these things like gaslighting, blame shifting, excuses, etc. And compile a detailed report on their possible responses and our replies. Prepare all the gathered evidence into a well-detailed info bomb. Separate our finances discreetly and swiftly just before confrontation. Prepare an ambush. Unleash Kaboom of Doom and watch the fallout. Go full NC with our WWs as soon as fallout starts. Get to therapy, thankfully IDOWworkHereLady can cover that. Meet up and get hammered to celebrate and grieve our destroyed lives. So we set up an empty room in Maya's friend's home and made it our fob and went to work. We contacted the legal team and showed them all the data we had. And they told us this data is airtight and asked if we wanted a quiet and amicable divorce or scorched earth policy. We, of course, decided on scorched earth policy. Our houses were owned by us completely and were private property, and we had them since before we were married, so other than some furniture, that wasn't the issue. Because D papers were being filed under adultery charges, our retirement funds and pension were also protected. On our lawyer's suggestion, we should talk about 50% of all shared accounts and transfer them to our personal accounts before serving them papers. And also, if we could gather evidence against their affair partners, we could sue them for alienation of affection charges. We agreed. So they gave us contact info of some piss who worked for them in the past. Our lawyers are sharks, experienced sharks. My lawyer explained that she has seen this kind of thing before in military marriages, and it unfortunately runs rampant in military spouses. She said she is heartbroken about what we were going through, because she was also a victim of infidelity, and has no mercy for cheaters. They have prepared papers in a week. They work fast. She told me if we decide to expose WWs completely to everyone, including their workplaces, they are likely to lose their jobs, and we will have to pay temporary alimony until they can get gainful employment. Small price to pay for what they have done. Because of a military checkpoint near our house due to its close proximity with the base, we put in the request for data of particular vehicles and people that were suspected of being affair partners through our CO. He's awesome. We then correlated all the data from GPS trackers on our wives' cars, the frequency of affair partner visits, their dates, as well as video and audio evidence from our homes and cars, and positively identified all affair partners. My STBX, which I believe is the correct term, has had 3 affair partners during the course of our marriage. We have also compiled all their emails and text messages. I felt sick and threw up watching what they were doing in our marital home. It was so psychologically scarring that it felt like I was falling into a black hole with no hope of returning. It felt as if I lost all will to live. Even after all I and my brothers went through, this was the first time we had self-harming thoughts. But every time one of us fell into depression, others would rush to his aid. We literally kept each other floating in this hellish ocean of despair. After we discovered who affair partners were, where they lived, and what they did, we hired PIs and sent them to investigate those affair partners. Apparently all of them are wives of coworkers in some capacity and are married with children. Monsters. So that's where we are right now, preparing and arming ourselves. These days I feel like I am in a constant emotionless state. I am faking every smile and every laugh, and can barely keep myself from vomiting every time I hear "I love you" from her. I physically recoil every time she wants to cuddle, but I have to endure. Every time she is near me, a maelstrom starts in my head. I know, as fed up as it is, I still love her. But I guess I will have to overcome it somehow. Update 2. It finally happened. If you want the context of this post, please check my previous posts. Thank you for all your support and kindness. It was very encouraging to see that there are people out there who have walked through the hell we are currently in and came out the other side with their dignity intact. So many people DM me and give me strength to keep fighting and have my brother's back. So it happened. 2 days ago was when we unleashed Armageddon. For all 6 of us, things happened differently, some very dramatic, some less so. As for me, it wasn't very dramatic. Maybe it's because of how I approached it. 3 days before we pushed the red button, I called my mom and told them I was coming to visit, and we would visit STBXW's parents. They live about a 4-hour drive away in the same community. We visit them for a few days every time I come back to the States. Both of our parents are old school, very religious and conservative, but they are all very loving and kind people. We contacted many of OBS before we were going to do this. Our original plan was to present D papers to both our WWs and their affair partners on the same day, but we realized it was getting extremely dangerous. If even one OBS slips up, our WWS will get alerted, and that will give them time to craft excuses and strategies for attack. We needed to blindside them to make sure that didn't happen, so we stopped after alerting 3 OBS. In that time, my STBX started acting suspiciously. She started acting more and more attentive, flirty, clingy, and romantic. So I thought she started suspecting something was up. I did my best to keep my cover and reciprocated, but I had to essentially kill myself emotionally every hour. I still can't believe how hard it is to lie to her, to lie to someone you love, and she did it so easily. We recruited some of our other friends to take the data and go to contact the remaining OBS and our WW's parents on the day this was going to happen. We created a WhatsApp group for coordinating everyone. Anyway, on the day of the confrontation, I took my STBX to a friend's place, which is about 3 miles away, and received a fake phone call from my friend. I told her to wait here for a while. I have to go meet my CO about something. I will be back in a few hours. I told her to enjoy time with her girlfriends for a while. I then rushed home, where a friend of mine was waiting with a pickup truck. I already cataloged all of her stuff, clothes, electronics, etc. I packed up all her stuff in pre-made boxes and loaded the truck. I did this as fast as I possibly could. In about 2 hours, I was done. Then I went back to my friend's place to pick up STBX and gave my friend a thumbs up. I then drove in my car with my STBX, and my other friend with a truck followed us for about an hour. We got to her parents' house at about 15 o'clock, and my mom arrived at about 17 o'clock. We greeted them, hung out, and played with her sister's children. My friend was just waiting in a restaurant nearby and waiting for my signal. At 21 o'clock, we had a lovely dinner, and everyone just started chatting. I messaged my friend with a thumbs up emoji, and I said in a loud voice, I have an announcement to make. I asked my ex-Sil to take the children upstairs. Then I told everyone to please sit down and stay quiet until I stopped talking. This scared my STBXW because she was shrinking in size. I think she knew what was coming next. But at this point, I had already made up my mind. I got calm, took a deep breath, collected myself, and laid it all out there. I told them all about STBXW's affair, and showed printouts of all the evidence I have collected on this affair. I told them to only see if they don't believe me and want to confirm it. It's a lot. Everyone was just stunned and silent. They didn't know what to say. I then told them I also have voice recordings, message chains, emails, videos, and pictures. I also have information on all of the affair parents, who they are, where they work, where they live, who their OBS are, and what they do. I have all of their information printed out in this file if they want to review and confirm it. My STBX shrunk 3 sizes by this point, and a look of utter shock and terror was on her face. I then told them that I cannot and will not continue in a relationship without trust, respect, and love, and my WW's actions conclusively prove that she cannot give it to me. I then presented D papers. I told them I would not be going through any legal separation, as it is a pointless exercise. Listening to this, my STBX started mumbling, No, please, no, don't. I said I didn't expose them to any of our mutual friends or to her work. But please don't make false narratives to them about our situation, or I will tell them the truth with evidence. I then said my house is mine, in my name pre-marriage, and our finances are already separated due to the nature of our jobs, and I have also withdrawn half of my money from any shared accounts we had. I then told her since she has her decent job, there will be no spousal support or alimony, and I would prefer we keep this out of court and do this ourselves. I then said please email me on which furniture she would like, as I would let her have half of them, and that I have also brought all of her clothes and stuff from my house boxed up and in a truck outside. Stuff I will be leaving here. At this point, I couldn't hold it in any longer, and my eyes started tearing up, and a few tears dripped down on my cheek. Then I just fell silent. Everyone was just stunned and silent. It's like they were frozen in place or something. Soon my STBXW just started wailing and crying nonstop, and I just closed my eyes and stood there silently. Soon Xasil grabbed STBX by arms and took her to another room. My mom walked up to me and hugged me. Mom has been my support in the darkest days of my life. I then walked up to my Phil and Mill and softly said, I am sorry, I couldn't protect your daughter. My Phil stood up and hugged me while Mill was just crying. Phil shook my hand and said, I know you did your best. Please keep in contact with us at least for a while. At this I said okay in a soft tone and took my mom with me and walked out. My friend was already unloading the truck at this point on their front porch. I helped him, and once done, I looked at the house, and Phil was standing in the doorway. I said please email me if there is something missing, and she needs it. He said okay. Me, my mom, and my friend then just left in our vehicles. I think I will have to give her the car, because she will need it to commute for her job. I already have a bike, so it's okay. I will probably buy a truck too. I have been thinking about the Ford F-150. My mom offered me to stay at her place, or she would come to my home for support for some time. But I told her I would probably need some time alone to think about things and grieve properly. I also told her not to worry. I have my brothers. She said okay, but made me promise to call her every day and tell me how my day is going. After I got home, I broke down. For the first time since it all began, I truly broke down. It's a pain unlike any other. No words or phrases can describe it. This day, all of my buddies confronted their WWs, and each has their own interesting story, each filled with pain and hurt. All of the known OBs have also been informed, and 2 OBs whose families moved out of state have also been emailed with all the relevant data. The next day, me and my buddies got together and just sat in silence for a few minutes, then broke down and cried. We then talked about what happened, how we handled the D-Day, and exposure. But that's what surprised me. They told me context was different for each of them, but their WWs made excuses like, I can explain this. They even throw each other under the bus, blaming each other for their actions, but my STBXW never did that. She just stayed quiet. Anyway, we just stopped talking about them and distracted ourselves with other things. It's been 2 days since then, and my STBX has been blowing up my phone and email. She is apologizing endlessly, but I haven't replied. I just ignore them. These 2 days have been very difficult. I can barely breathe. I can't stay at home. Every time I enter the house, it feels like the walls are closing down on me. So I just spend most of my day outside with my buddies. I am thinking of putting in a request for early deployment with my CO. I just want to go away and spend time away from here for a while. But after I get the D papers signed and filed in court. Well, that's where we are now. It hurts beyond madness. I am thinking of going on a vacation with my buddies for a while, just to distract ourselves for a while. Update 3. Things are progressing. Thank you everyone for some clarity and advice. I am going to write an update because people have been asking for it. But before that, I think I should tell everyone about ourselves. Me and my STBX have been together since we were 5. Her family was our neighbor, and we were childhood friends. We went to school together, did our homework together, and played together. Our families have been close friends since we got to know each other. My father passed on because of glioblastoma. When I was 10, she would spend all of her time with me. We were as close as 2 people can be. At least that's what I thought. Neither of us dated anyone else. She was my first romantic interest confessed when we were 16. Tried to hide it for a year or so. But when we told our families, they were like, duh, obviously we know. And they were happy. We dated until we got married. We were each other's first. I thought I was lucky beyond possible. She didn't just destroy 12 years of marriage and 20 years of romance. She destroyed 31 years of our relationship. I still can't believe or understand how you do this to someone you spent your whole life with. To someone who devoted his whole life to you. After our marriage, when she went to college, our families moved away from each other. But we were still close as family. Her siblings were my siblings. My siblings were her siblings. We were that close. But she still did all this. Well, now for an update. After I served her and went home, I couldn't sleep for 2 days. My STBX started blowing up my phone and email with apologies and stuff. I just ignored all that stuff. It was hell. She offered everything she could, post-nup, swore she would never give up, promised she would never touch anyone, and went to a therapist and psychologist. Go to IC, full NC with everyone, full transparency, get a full medical checkup, offer a one-sided open relationship, never leave home without permission, GPS tracking whenever she is out, only keep contact with approved people, quit or change jobs, etc. I never asked for it, but she sent a detailed and signed confession and timeline. I felt as if the whole world would collapse. Constant self-harming thoughts, insomnia, being unable to even understand what I was feeling. It felt like hell, but I am doing better now. I will keep in contact with my STBX in-laws because they are family. They have been family long before she was my W. I packed all of the furniture STBX defiled on a truck and sent it all to her parents, took the marital bed and burned it, and replaced it all. Soon after STBX realized that I was not responding to her bull, she tried to self-delete. She stabbed her left arm between bones radius and ulna. Her family got her to the ER and saved her life. I drove 4 hours in the middle of the night to get to the hospital and waited until news of her being safe. Then I went back home. STBX did sign the divorce papers when she decided to self-delete, so at least I have that. I immediately got the papers to my lawyer, and she immediately got them filed. A lot of stuff has happened since then. My mom came to live with me, and my siblings flew to me along with their families, and have been living with me for the last few weeks. My family is awesome. Then, about a week ago, STBX did retain a lawyer, who in turn contacted my lawyer. My lawyer told me that court is likely to tell us to go to an MC, and it would expedite a lot of waiting if I went to MC for at least a few sessions. So begrudgingly I went to MC. The MEC is an old, experienced lady who is also a psychologist. She's a friend of my mom's and was her therapist when my dad passed away. My mom got her to take my case in her free time as a favor. I saw STBX for the first time after that night when I served her D papers. She was exhausted, had a giant bandage on her arm, looked weak, shriveled, and had bloodshot eyes. She was shaking, and her voice was hoarse. I took a deep breath and took a seat. After introduction, MC asked, "Please tell me how I feel." I looked at MC and asked her, "Does she really want to know?" STBX tried self-deletion just recently, but MC insisted. So I explained it the best way I could. I took inspiration from here, Reddit posts, and YouTube videos and tried to articulate it the best way I could. I told her that the moment I discovered her actions, it felt like she tied me to a surgeon's bed and started sawing my legs off. With each discovery and each lie, I felt a stroke of saw cutting through my skin, muscles, and bones. I kept screaming and begging her to stop, but she just smiled and said "I love you" and kept sawing over and over again, until she completely cut them off. Every word I said fell on deaf ears, and she kept on hurting me endlessly. I then said, "Even now I feel phantom pain in a limb that is no longer there. The marriage is no longer there, but the phantom pain is there." I then said I wouldn't ever let her hurt me again. At this point, I was hyperventilating and seeing red. I realized I was on the verge of doing or saying something stupid, so I excused myself and left. The MC apparently grilled STBX after I left, and told her that in my state of mind, there is no possibility of forgiveness. STBX suffered a panic attack after that, and her sister had to get her back to the hospital. That was STBX's routine for the last few weeks. I had to meet with MC one more time, but that was relatively uneventful. She just told me that my psych condition is extremely dangerous, and that I have lost control of my emotional switch. I told her I would deal with it myself. Well, now things are progressing. My D papers got signed, and we are now officially in the cool-off period. If everything goes smoothly 4 months later, I will be free of this lie I have been living. My mom visited STBX a few days ago, and I don't know what they talked about, and I don't care. I told my mother not to tell me anything, and this week STBX Mill and STBX Sil came to visit me. Long story short, I told them I would not forgive the 3 years of betrayal and pain she caused me. I told them she tore out my heart, and I no longer have any love or care to give her. All of my STBX's affair partners' lives have been turned upside down. One of them got disowned from family, 2 of them lost their jobs, and they are all going through divorces of their own. Honestly, their lives are going to crapper, and I will take whatever chance I get to make it even worse. One thing that perplexes me is that my STBX didn't try to manipulate me or gaslight me. That's weird. Honestly, I prepared a whole script of all her possible manipulations, and my replies to all that bullshit. As for my buddies, their D is going as well except for my buddy with a kid. His STBX is a monster. I will call her Queen Bee from now on. She tried everything: gaslighting, manipulation, lying, and everything. She even tried to use the kid. Luckily, after some false negatives, we got positive results that he is indeed his son. Apparently, she was the instigator of all this. She was the one who corrupted all of our STBX. And now even her family has disowned her. She got kicked out of their homes as well, and she is currently living in her car. She got run over by karma train and is in an apologetic state these days. As for me, I am looking for early deployment. I think getting away from it all is the best distraction for me. I am still trying to cope, fighting mind movies and nightmares, but I am still fighting and coping. I have my family and my buddies. I will get over it all. Edit. One thing I forgot to add. When my mom went to visit the STBX family, I sent a letter with some questions on paper for her to answer me. I thought it would give me some more ammo. This is the only example of breaking NC I have with her. When my mom returned, she gave me her reply with her sign. Please tell me what you all think about this. I am kind of confused. Did I ever hurt you? Physically, emotionally, or psychologically? No. Did I ever betray you in any way? No. Did I ever leave you wanting for something? Never. Did I not love you? You always did. Did I emotionally not connect with you? You were always there. Did I ever not fulfill any of your wishes? You fulfilled every wish. Did I not satisfy you in bed? Always. You were the only one who could. Did I not give her emotional validation? You always did. Did I not make you feel loved? You always did. Did I hurt you at any time in our lives? Since we were 5? Never. Not once in our entire life. Was there something special about your affair partners? Nothing. There was nothing special about them. Did I not set boundaries properly? You always did, since the beginning. Did you not know my views on betrayal and infidelity of any kind? I did. I am sorry. How did you think this was going to end? At first, I thought I would end it after the first time. Later, I stopped thinking about it, thinking you would never find out. What did you think my reaction would be? The reaction you are showing now. But I hope you will forgive me. Update 4. Trying to recover. Again, thank you to everyone who gave me support by reading my posts and thoughts. I apologize for the long post, but I guess I have quite a lot to say. Well, finally it happened. I am finally experiencing the full extent of what it means to go through the emotional roller coaster. One day, I suddenly broke down in the shower and started crying uncontrollably. I couldn't think straight. I didn't even know why I was in that state, but I just couldn't stop. Finally, my family realized that I was in the shower for too long, so they knocked on the door for a while. That snapped me back. I feel fine for some days. Then some days I just feel tired and kind of scared. Then all of a sudden, I feel run over by an emotional train. It always leaves me battered and bruised. Then the next day I feel fine. This happens over and over again. It's a vicious cycle. I talked to my therapist immediately, and he said it's okay. This happens often. It's what a lot of people experience when you start to disconnect with someone with a deep emotional connection, especially if it's a long-term connection. He said the best thing I can do is to try to make better connections with other people by talking to them as much as I can about what I am experiencing. He said that would help, so I did talk to my family about my emotions and my thoughts. Admittedly, that helped a lot. So after talking and showing these posts to my family, my brother recommended that I post here too, so here I am. People say I am strong. I am dealing with it with strength, but I don't feel strong. I just lost the only person I truly loved, and in the worst of ways. If I lost my world, my purpose for living and caring, I don't feel strong at all. Infidelity can cause an insufferable amount of pain to the betrayed. I still don't know how I haven't completely lost my mind or my life. This is why betrayal is the most heinous of crimes. In every story, in every religion, betrayal is the worst of sins. It's why the devil is locked up in the worst part of hell, one meant for betrayers. I know I am hurt. I know I am suffering, but I know I will heal. I will walk straight. I won't ever crawl. I won't let her win. I won't ever let her pepper me with excuses or lies. Well, so far, she didn't try to gaslight me, but that's probably because I have been strictly NC with her. I haven't talked to her directly at all. She betrayed me and destroyed our future. And she did this for 3 years as if it were a normal thing to do. So I don't trust her not to do that. SHT. I always believed that love is more than just a feeling. It's a lot more than that. I know everyone just throws that word around and everyone is entitled to their beliefs, but I will also share my beliefs. I believe a true connection with someone happens in 3 stages. First is instincts, attraction. It's involuntary. When we see someone we think is beautiful or attractive, our instincts automatically move our attention to them. Second is infatuation, liking. It's when we try to emotionally connect with them, when we get to know them, how they think, how they behave, things about their lives, their histories, etc. The third is commitment, focus, loyalty, respect, and care. To me, this is what true love is. To love someone is to be devoted to them, to commit to them, to their happiness. It is to protect them, to honor them, to care for them. Love is a husband and a father who works back-breaking hard labor day after day repeatedly, not looking for something exciting, just so he can give his children a bright future and make his wife happy. Love is a mother who would walk on fire so her children wouldn't have to. Love is a wife who is there for her husband to give him comfort and care after he comes home with an aching body after a hard day's labor. Love is a son who always remembers the hardships his parents went through to give him a good life, and he doesn't abandon them when they are old and infirm. Love is a soldier who goes to hostile hellscapes, knowing any moment a stray bullet could end him, but he goes anyway because he wants to protect those he loves and cares about. Love is family who always sticks together and helps each other to overcome anything in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. Love is a verb, an action. It's something shown, not told. Its commitment is not something that can just be described as an emotion. It's something felt, not described. Love is something beautiful and amazing, but too many are blind to it. I have been around the world, from SA, EU, Middle East, and even Asia. And on all of my assignments, I had the time, money, and resources to cheat as much as I could want. I could have cheated on my STBX with women of almost every continent. Everywhere we went, there were women who were literally trying to pour themselves on us. But I never strayed. I didn't even entertain a thought. I never touched another woman other than my STX. I always cared and did my best to show her my love and commitment to her in every way I could think of. From small everyday kindness to large-scale gestures. She couldn't really reciprocate. But I thought that's just how she was. She was just shy or something. But she did try, and I was happy with that. I loved and accepted her with all my heart. And she stomped on it. I showed by my actions that I truly did love her. And she showed by her actions that she was selfish, and thereby incapable of loving someone. She merely saw me as a provider and a protector who she could leech off of and satiate her lust in bed. So when I was away, she would just find someone else. She has shown me through her actions that she is unworthy of my love and affection. She doesn't deserve it. For her, our 31 years of friendship and 20 years of romance meant so little that she so easily betrayed me. Will never again. I will never again be there for her when she gets sick and would need someone to care for her for 2 months continuously on just 3-4 hours of sleep. I will never again be there when she needs to pull all-nighters, helping her study for her exams by making her coffee every 2 hours and studying with her. I will never again be there when she gets stuck in the middle of nowhere because she forgot to fill her gas tank. I will never again be there when she is sad because a friend died due to cancer. It's painful, but I need to live with myself a lot more than I need to live with her. I need to look in the mirror every day. I won't let her haunt my thoughts anymore. I won't let her voice dictate my actions anymore. I won't clean up after her or fulfill her whims. Well, these are my thoughts so far. As for what else has been happening, well, 2 significant events happened after my last update. First, one of her affair partners self-delete. Well, apparently he pissed off a lot of people, and my STBX wasn't his only affair. He was also stealing and embezzling to fuel his lifestyle. So he got fired, divorced, and sued by a lot of people with all kinds of charges. So he decided to take the easy way out. As cold as it sounds, I don't give an F about him. But his wife, well, things are hard for her because of her 2 children. And second, Queen Bee got her world blown apart. Really blown apart. She got fired, lost her home, her marriage, her loving and caring husband, her parents, her child, and all of her friends. Everyone ghosted her because they didn't want anything to do with the SHT storm that is her life these days. She got run over by the karma train, and it's a very long train. Anyway, I really want to put this out there so I can get some perspectives and advice on how to deal with this roller coaster cycle I have been going through. How do you cope with something like this? How do you move on completely? Thank you for any advice. Update 5. Small but important update. Well, a few things happened since my last update. For one, our CO did us a solid job and got us a temporary duty posting on a different base, a few states away for training ourselves and guiding new ones. I will deploy next week. I already informed my family, and they will fly back the day after tomorrow. The second is that when my STBX's family heard that, they informed STBX, and she realized that it would be impossible for any form of reconciliation and/or stopping divorce from going through. So her family contacted me and asked me to please give STBX some hope even if it's false, or she really will self-delete herself. Honestly, it kind of pissed me off. It sounded like blackmail, but knowing her current condition and my complete NC might actually do that. They told me to give her some condition or something. So please give me some perspective. Should I give her some conditions? And if so, what kind? Thank you for any input. Update 6. I sent an email. I read all of the comments and PMs with a lot of people. I am utterly amazed by the amazing people here who take the time to give me their precious thoughts, time, and perspectives. It literally restored my faith in humanity. Honestly, people who go through what we have gone through need this support. They need to know we are not alone and we are not unloved. Anyway, after I read all of the comments and messages, I had a long talk with my family and decided to write a single email. A message to STBX directly. I did this because one of the comments mentioned how my STBX immediately surrendered, and I didn't fight with her. I didn't get my answers. To be honest, I do have all of my answers, and I don't need to hear them directly from her. But considering our history, I think I should at least send her an email. So that's just what I did. After thinking things through thoroughly, I thought I would just tell her the truth, no mixing up the words. I would just say the truth. I will copy the email here. Please let me know if I made a mistake. I am writing you this email to tell you about what I feel and what is going to happen from here on out. Make no mistake, this is not me re-establishing any form of communication with you. From now on we are on different paths of life. But I will at least tell you this because of our history. I am a broken man. I am wounded in ways that most don't even understand. I have seen just how messed up humans can be. I have seen broken people, broken bodies, and broken minds. I have heard screams that haunt me. So to face all that nightmare that is my life, I became a hard man. I trained my mind and soul to endure this darkness, so those that I loved won't have to. So you won't have to. In all of that pain, my home, my family, you were my safe harbor. It was your warmth that healed me after every wound. It was your voice that drowned out those screams. Just being with you and experiencing love was what kept my sanity, what restored my faith in humanity. So to protect that, to protect you, I was willing to face any monster, any devil, any darkness. But I never thought the one who would hurt me the most, the one who would break me the most, would be you. The one person I loved with all my heart and soul. Believe me, the pain you subjected me to too was so great that I would have preferred that you put a bullet in my head instead. But you betrayed me so easily, so resolutely, not once but multiple times over the course of 3 long years, and with 3 different men. And those are the ones I know of. Who knows how many times and for how long you have done this. So understand that you have lost all of my trust and my love and commitment to you. I gave you everything, my life, my love, care, respect, everything. But it wasn't enough for you. You still chose to do this. You still chose to betray me. You still chose to hurt me. So this is me making a decision. A decision to protect myself. A decision to remove this pain from my life. I will heal myself. I will grow more. I will move on. And I will live a good life. When the consequences of your actions came, you chose to take the easy way out. You chose to hurt not just me, but also your family, my family, and everyone who ever truly loved you. Understand that if you succeeded in doing that, you would have earned the greatest hatred and disgust from me and your family. I don't want everyone else to remember you that way. So please heal yourself, get help, move on, and live a good life like I hope to do. Please learn from this. Learn to love, learn to care, and learn to be loyal, because it's the most important aspect of any relationship. I have told you this countless times. Love is an action, it's commitment. And I have proven that to you. And you have proven that you don't love me. So please stop repeating that lie to me, to your family, and to yourself. Please find someone else who is caring and loving, and please love them. It's a beautiful thing. If you say that you love me, and you will never give up on me, then stop repeating them in words and prove it through your actions. Return to the woman I first fell in love with, the woman whose loyalty and morality were inspiration to me, who was the beacon of righteousness in my life, who was kind, caring, and loving. Make amends with your friends who tired to stop you. I know there are many, and you cut them out because they would have told me. Make amends with your family whose hearts you have broken. Make amends with other betrayed women whose homes you helped destroy. Make amends to my brothers, whose very worlds you and your circle have destroyed. Earn their forgiveness. Earn their respect and friendship. And maybe you will regain some of my respect. Believe me, I will know if you ever step off this path. Make no mistake. This is not a path to reconciliation. This is a path to redemption. If you succeed in doing all that, and I have healed enough to forgive you, we might start a friendship again in the future. And after that, if both of us are willing, and I haven't found someone else to love. Then maybe one day we could start over. But that will have to be built from the ground up. What we had is totally and utterly destroyed by your actions, and now I am just cleaning up the rubble. As for me, I will no longer spurn advances from women. I will actively seek out worthy women, worthy enough for what remains of my heart. I will find someone someday. You now have serious competition, and odds aren't in your favor. You will live with that knowledge. I will not contact you again until I am healed enough to do so, until I reach my goal of indifference towards you. Once that happens, and you haven't stepped out, you will have to earn my heart back. I will be leaving next week, and in a few months divorce will be finalized. It will happen. There is no stopping that, so understand I am no longer your husband. You are free to pursue anyone you like or continue with your disgusting infidelity. Your life is now completely yours. I no longer have any stake in it, as you no longer have any in mine. But understand actions have consequences, and betrayal is an unforgivable sin. This will be my last message to you. Farewell. This is the email I just sent my STBXW. Please share your thoughts. Update 7. She replied, "It was weird. Hey guys, honestly, I didn't expect to post again for a while. But well, something happened. My siblings flew back yesterday, and I drove my mom back to her home. When I returned home in the evening, a few hours later Xil came to my home. She told me that when my STBX read my email, she wailed nonstop until she shut down. Then a few hours later she got up and started writing things. She wrote a list of people she must make amends to. Xil then handed me a giant 8-page letter. I read it today. It's long and personal. The first 2 pages were just apologies. The third page was a giant list of people. And the next 5 pages were her telling me that she is resolved to never give up on me. And she will make amends and earn every one of their respect and friendship. And how she will never touch anyone else. She will redeem herself in my eyes, even if it takes her the rest of her life. I don't even know what to think about this. I won't reply to this and just put this in the file, which I will just lock up when I leave on Monday. My buddy, who was married to Queen Bee, took some pity on Queen Bee and helped her put down payment on a small flat, and even pulled a favor to get Queen Bee a job at a grocery store. The store manager and owner is a close friend and a disabled vet. He has said he will only hire her on the provision that if she steps out of line and misbehaves even a little, he will fire her right then and there. QB has been homeless for a few months now, so I think she will make the most of this. These days my buddy told me QB is very quiet and just keeps her head hanging low. We also learned from someone who is still in contact with QB in some capacity that QB is contemplating self-deletion. The amazing thing is he did all of this without ever coming into any direct contact with QB. But he let her know just how thin ice is under her feet. He did all of this for his kid, so at least his kid won't get visitations from a homeless mother. Many here requested I write about how my buddy's stories went, but I don't think it's my place to write about it. After D is finalized and we heal somewhat, I will ask them if I can post how their stories went here. It will be a while, though. Anyway, guys, you are all awesome. You have helped me more than you can know. It has helped me pick up some shards of my broken heart, and believe me, only those that have gone through this know how much that means. You all have my eternal gratitude. I won't be posting for a while, because I doubt anything else will happen from now on. But if it does, I will probably tell you about it. To all those with broken hearts and shattered lives who are currently going through this hell, please pick yourself up and keep walking. Only you can heal yourself. Wounds of the body heal automatically, but wounds of mind and soul only heal when you actively nurse them. Don't let cheaters win. Live a good life. I think this verse from Invictus was written especially for us the betrayed. In the fell clutch of circumstances, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance my head is bloody, but unbowed. So don't bow your head. Don't settle for cheats. Don't surrender your morality. And no matter how painful it is, walk with your heads held high, because otherwise life isn't worth living. Update 8. Positive developments. Hey everyone, it's been a week since my last update. A lot of people messaged me, showing their support and love. Honestly, that helps a lot. So I thought I should write an update about what else has been happening since then and a few new developments. For one, some people are confused as to why I meant that our pensions are safe, because me and my STBX have been married for more than 10 years. And yes, according to military rules, if you are married for more than 10 years, then you have to give 50% to your ex, no matter the reasons. That is a messed up rule. The only one who has crossed the 10-year mark is me. 4 of us are protected. I instead paid STBX in a lump sum in exchange for relinquishing all rights to my pension. I took a bit of a financial hit. But honestly, I have a lot saved up. Out of 6 of us, 5 are married. 1 is single. But that's because he was cheated on by his girlfriend when he just joined. So it was years ago. As for me, my brother is a very successful businessman. He has his fingers in a lot of pies. And my mother gave me a lot of inheritance and assets left behind by my dad when I was 20. My brother convinced me to invest in business with him rather than wasting it. So that's just what I did. I became a partner with him in a few of his ventures. That initial investment exploded and made quite a nest egg. I even convinced 2 of my buddies to invest. I never touched money from it. I only kept reinvesting all the profits. The only time I took from it was when I bought my house. I wanted to become an engineer. It's one of my passions, but college is ridiculously expensive these days, and I didn't want to hurt my savings. I also knew that I would be at least 24 when I graduate, and then start a career, which would be uncertain. I really wanted to start a family by then. So I joined the military, and was hoping to join the engineering corps. But instead I got scouted by JSOC, met up with my brothers, and bought the house. They were already living in that community. A year later, my STBX moved in with me, and in a year we got married. It was also her idea to keep our finances separated because she wanted a career of her own after college. The only joint accounts we had were for vacation savings, emergencies, groceries, and maintenance. Anyway, currently we are in Texas and have been deployed on training and instructing new recruits. It has kept us busy, and we are honestly enjoying it. Our CO even called it a paid vacation. We are currently discussing if we should just request a permanent transfer here. But that won't be fair to our single buddy and our CO. But we are thinking about it. Our single buddy said if we decide to move, he will move with us. Our CO told us he can make it happen. We have the rank, so it's relatively easy. Yesterday, we had a lovely BBQ dinner at a buddy's family home. He's from Texas originally and had a lot of fun with his family. So yeah, we are thinking of moving here. I will probably sell that house because there is a lot of pain there. And it hurts too much to call it my home and buy a good suburban house here. As for my STBX, I have instructed her family to stop all contact with me for a while. I told them when I am ready, I will tell them. They are close, so I can't cut them out of my life completely. But I will never talk to them about STBX, and I have told them never to mention her to me again. Anyway, I will probably go quiet for a while from here. There isn't much left to say. I will probably update when divorce is finalized. Update 9. Finally have the full picture. I am so pissed off. So, yesterday at about 20 o'clock, Queen Bee's ex-husband, my brother, with a 6-year-old kid, received a message from his lawyer. He thought it was important, so he called the lawyer back. The lawyer told him that QB came to his office today to communicate a letter to my brother. At first, my brother thought he didn't want to read that letter and told the lawyer not to send it to him. But one of my other buddies convinced him to at least see what else she had to say. They just expected more bullshit, but what we got was infinitely worse. Jesus, I feel like I am back to day 1. The day I first learned about their affairs. Both of them read the letter first and got really unsettled. And I mean, they were fuming, so they called us and gathered us all. Then they opened the email on his laptop and told us to read it all. So we did. The first few pages were just apologies, and her saying how she ruined everything, her future, our future, and how she was a monster bound for the deepest pits of hell. The same old BS. Then she thanked him profusely for showing mercy and getting her a place to stay and a stable job for the foreseeable future. Then came the juicy bit. It was a full written confession and timeline from QB. According to this letter, this all started about 9 years ago when QB met and made some friends at some library she used to frequent. There was a book club or something there. At first, they were just talking about books and their usual activities. But soon they started asking about QB's romantic life and how she was coping with her then BF, now soon to be ex-husband, being away from her on a deployment. And then they started feeding her this weird anti-men narrative about how we are all controlling and how the wives are just supposed to stay quietly at home. Or for some reason all men are monsters. And how we see our significant others as some sort of slave. It was some weird, messed up, jumbled version of feminism. With no supporting arguments, I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't even understand it. They all called themselves feminists, but what they were spewing was pretty fucking far from what feminism was supposed to be. I always thought feminism was supposed to be a moment to give women rights and freedoms like the ability to pursue good, healthy, and free lives, like the ability to have a job, or the ability to vote and study. It was supposed to empower women to complement men's strengths with a woman's strength, and be in turn complemented with a man's strength, which I respect. Men and women are equal, but we are different. Men have their strengths and weaknesses, and women have a different set of strengths and weaknesses. Like, for example, men are physically stronger. We have denser bones and muscles, as well as larger lung capacity and more hemoglobin, meaning we are more adept at physical effort. Men also have a more emotionally stable and compartmentalizing mind. Men also have better depth perception and spatial awareness. But men also have our weaknesses, like men are emotionally stunted. We find it harder to connect emotionally and express emotions. Men are also socially awkward. Generally, we at most keep up with a circle of 10 to 35 friends. Women have their own strengths, like the ability to keep up with more than 200 to 800 friends and emotionally and psychologically connect and support others. Women have the ability to connect family and make them all stronger. Both men and women can do both, but we generally find it easier to stick to our strength. This is all supported by actual science. Men and women are supposed to have a complementary relationship, not a competitive one. That is called a family, where we are supposed to be each other's strengths and cover each other's weaknesses. Men are supposed to be the brain, and women are supposed to be the heart of the family. That's how humans have evolved to be. It's like creating an alloy where the resulting alloy is much, much stronger than the composing metals. If my ex was a feminist and was fighting some real injustice against women, something that could actually be proven with supporting evidence and arguments, I would have carried her on my shoulders and made her taller, her voice louder. I would have become her shield against any storm, any stone thrown her way. Hell, I would have thrown a bigger stone right back. But this misandrism, trying to suppress men and spreading poison, is just disgusting. Anyway, what I was reading from her letter about what they spoon-feed QB was misandrism, not feminism. This was some weird, disgusting, men-hating cult of succubi dressed in a woman's skin. And they effectively brainwashed the QB by keeping her fed with a constant flow of bullshit tea. It was like some well-trained indoctrination program. It was messed up. When QB was hooked, they then started to tell her to empower herself by exploring her sexuality and live a free life unbound by the shackles of men and monogamy. Like cheapening and selling yourself, your body, soul, time, and emotions for cheap thrills and material things are somehow supposed to be empowering. Like neglecting your spouses, true love is supposed to be somehow empowering. Like neglecting and putting someone who truly loves you into the same category as some random a-holes who just want to pump and dump you is supposed to be somehow empowering. QB bought into all this crap, and 6 years ago after marriage, just after giving birth to her son, she started her infidelity and got addicted to it, had 8 affairs. She then started to slowly drip the same poison in all of our XW's ears, promoting her bullshit tea like it's some kind of rite of passage, something you must do if you are a woman. It was toxic. In a few months, another XW joined her bullshit tea, and they both started hanging out in bars and flirting up their coworkers. Then they both started poisoning the rest, and one by one they all fell. My ex was the last one who also fell to 3 years ago, just to fit in, QB's words. Once they were all plagued by this contamination, they started organizing and covering for each other, like lying to us, their husbands, about all kinds of SHT. There's a whole lot in this 24-page confession, things I can't even talk about here because the very words disgust me. It's like reading Ted Bundy's journal. Is this what modern feminism has come to? Is this what all women have come to? Is this what our nation has come to? Is this what we were fighting and bleeding to protect? Really? If that's so, then I'm going to migrate to the EU or something. I feel rage like I have never felt before. It's like my anger at all has reached some kind of apotheosis. I always suspected something like this was going on in the background. But this all is infinitely worse than anything I could have imagined. Sorry, I just needed to vent and gather my thoughts. Writing helps organize thoughts when you are enraged. We don't know what to do with this confession. I don't even know why the QB bothered sending this to us. Is this some kind of torture? Update 10. Weird encounters and unanswered questions. Hey guys, honestly, I just wrote my story on Reddit to get some advice. But damn, it got blown up. And since I do have to maintain a certain level of secrecy, I just wrote on my personal page and not on any subreddits except a few updates. I wanted to make sure this story didn't get found out by our STBXs or their families before Armageddon Day. But now that it happened, it doesn't matter anymore if it gets found out by them. I received hundreds of messages and comments from all kinds of people in groups. Some of them weird, and some of them not so weird. And many of them asked the same questions over and over again. Guys, sorry, I am busy. I can't write to all of you, and I can't post updates over and over again. So I will just write answers to these questions here. I am writing this update to answer some unanswered questions and tell you guys about a very interesting meeting I had with a feminist. So, for one, to those who offered their support, advice, and sympathy, you people are awesome. You have literally helped me in the darkest days of my life. I had no idea I could rely on internet strangers for help and understanding. But you guys were there for me just like my brothers and my family were there for me. You guys have helped me pick myself up and walk after I got my legs cut off by my STBXW. I am still limping, but I am improving day by day. I have somehow slowed down the emotional roller coaster and learned to stabilize it. I now know what to do whenever I get hit by that damn train. Gentlemen, going to the gym, keeping yourself busy, eating healthy, and essentially tiring yourself every day is wise advice in this scenario. I learned running up a hill loaded with gear does wonders for psychotherapy. It focuses your mind on what's important, makes you stronger, and keeps the demons at bay. Secondly, guys, I fell in love with TX. It's beautiful, and I am talking wild rock formations, open country, fresh air, good people, and wild horses. We have decided to settle here once our deal is finalized and the sale of our houses goes through. Thirdly, for those who somehow think this is all fake, okay, you are entitled to your beliefs. Sometimes truth can be stranger than fiction, and believe me, due to the nature of my job, I have seen a lot of really weird SHT, things I would have refused to believe before I actually witnessed them. So it's perfectly natural to be skeptical about those things. Just please don't bother messaging me about it if you think it's fake. Fourthly, I have been messaged by some weird neo-Nazi white supremacist group, and that was kind of gross. To those people, I will say this. You better pray you don't meet me in the dark. Fifthly, I have also been messaged by a lot of poly people and swingers telling me to get together with my STBXW and forgive her. They said it's not that bad, and let my STBXW have her fun while I am away. And I should also have my fun when I am overseas. To those people, I will say you guys can have your beliefs. Just don't try to shove them down others' throats. I am a monogamous guy, and to me, loyalty and commitment are the most important traits for any relationship. Betrayal is unforgivable. I will never be disloyal to whoever I am in a committed relationship with, and I expect the same standard in return. So please just stick to your people and leave me to mine, and we will get along fine. Sixthly, yay, we are suing the Afari partners, and we are really raking them over the coals. Combined with their divorces, their lives are a mess right now. Most of them asked for out-of-court settlements, but we turned them down. It's expensive but worth it. One of the idiots even tired to threaten us. I mean, really. Seventhly, we have cut off as many benefits for our STBXW as we can. We will not be financing their disgusting bullshit. Eighthly, guys, I understand your anger after what happened to me. The letter of Queen Bee. I really understand your anger at women. But please, I will say it again. There are some really good women out there. They are very hard to find these days, but there are some really good women out there. Don't let men-hating women misandrists turn you into women-hating men, because if you let that happen, they will win. Just keep your eyes open, remain vigilant, and look for the red flags. Just follow the policy of equal rights and equal fights. I know I will. I will always hate cheaters, but don't just blame it on the women. Not all women are cheats, at least I hope not. And many men also cheat. The so-called Chads and Tyrones are monsters who allow for this kind of nonsense to happen. They destroy not only their own lives, but the lives of everyone around them. And finally, I will tell you guys about an interesting meeting with a raging feminist. She wasn't a feminist. She was a misandrist. It was certainly enlightening, and I gave her a true reality check. So, 2 days ago, a brother of my buddy convinced us to visit a bar with him to pass the time and have some fun. So the three of us went to the bar. We were having fun, and all of a sudden, a woman probably in her late 30s approached us. She sat next to me and started chatting all of a sudden. My buddy's brother told me to give it a shot. Just casually date this woman. It will be a good boost for me. I wasn't really in the mood because I am still kind of jaded and am terrified of any rebound relationship. But I decided to chat with her. So, after some pleasantries, the conversation took an interesting but predictable turn, and she soon started asking me about my job. I didn't tell her the details, but I mentioned I was in the military and have my own business. She asked me how much I make, my fashion sense, and my hobbies. Basically, she was profiling me. I was just amused at this girl and kept answering so soon. Sure enough, she asked me out on a date. At this point, I was like, okay, since you are done with your questionnaire, it's my turn. I then asked her what she brings to the relationship. And tell me about her past relationships. And she just falls quiet. She says it's rude of me to ask her that. And then she just goes off in a tangent about how women shouldn't be asked those questions, and blah blah blah. It was a long and weird tirade. I just stayed quiet with a smirk on my face, slowly drinking my beer. When she finally ran out of steam, I just replied that the correct answer to that question was loyalty, commitment, respect, and love. I then told her if she is going to profile me and size me up by my wallet, and she needs to measure up and reply in kind. If your only marketable skill is looks and is X, then you should know how easy and cheap that is these days, and you clearly have serious self-accountability issues. I told her I am not interested in her money or her job. And just like how a woman is interested in a man's future, a man is interested in a woman's past, and by her tirade, she just told me how and why all her past relationships failed. How she spent her youth and prime being a carousel rider with a bunch of a-holes who were never going to commit to her. And now that she has finally hit the wall, she is realizing she doesn't have any options left. And at her age, her chances of even giving a man children are rapidly dwindling. And the kind of woman who rejected every good man and went for every a-hole in her prime isn't very appealing to a good man in his prime. She was stunned and silent. Then I just got up and walked away. She did not take the rejection well and started screaming and throwing a tantrum. But I just didn't care and ignored her. Anyway, in a week or two, I will have a trip to North Sea. Those in the loop will understand what that means. Anyway, see you soon. Edit. Well, SHT. Today I found out from my buddy that his brother told him that girl is now asking about me in that bar. Apparently buddy's brother went to the bar with his friends today, and that girl instantly spotted him and started asking about me and my contact info. That's kind of scary. Also, to answer one more question I get over and over again, after we moved to TX, a lot of guys from the old base have now entered their own investigative phase, and a lot of skeletons are coming out of the closet. It's a mess. Yes, let that sink in for a moment. This is how this society repays our loyalty and sacrifice. Armageddon Day. Story 1. Hello everyone. This is the first time I am writing something like this. And before now I had no idea there were so many cheating stories on the internet. Honestly, when we started researching the cheating spouses and what they do to explore our options, I discovered there was so much data online we could use. My friend and teammate showed us his posts after our Armageddon Day and told us about the massive support he received from internet strangers. He said it's a therapy unlike any other, and it helps focus your mind towards what we suffered, felt, and what you want in the future. He told us to write about our experiences and what we went through, and instead of creating multiple Reddit accounts, he shared his account with the rest of us, so we could all write what we wanted to say. Me and my ex had no children by choice, so I will write about Armageddon Day and the way I confronted my ex-wife. My ex-wife cheated on me with 5 guys. Apparently she had a thing for younger guys. My ex works as a nurse at a local hospital in our city, and she would find guys who were single. She would seduce them, feed them some crap, and start her affairs with them, often at their homes, and would play the role of a single woman, who may be even a widow, whenever I was away at a deployment. So my approach to confrontation was kind of different. I managed to track down her current affair partner. He is a 27-year-old college student, single, working as an HVAC tech, studying in a master's program. Apparently he met my ex when he was doing maintenance at the hospital. My ex is 32. So after confirming this guy is her current affair partner, I started doing research on him. He is a good guy, innocent, from a decent family, and was completely unaware that she was married. He thought he landed a decent girlfriend. I didn't want to destroy this guy's future because he didn't know. So one day I decided to meet him. I approached him a few days before Armageddon Day. At first he thought I was mistaken and confused. Then I showed him the pictures of my ex with me. The pure shock on his face told me everything I needed to know about this guy. He was appalled and angry and scared of me at the same time. I told him I wanted to find out if he knew about her, and what kind of lies she told him directly from him. And I confronted him first so I wouldn't have to sue him. He then told me everything about dates he took her on, gifts he bought for her, the whole story. He then told me he is done with her, and he won't ever see her again, and asked me what my plans were. So I told him. So after I returned home, I told my ex-wife that I would be leaving on a trip for 2 days with the guys. And as planned, the boyfriend chatted her up, acting like he didn't know anything, and asked her to spend the night at his place. He told her that he would come home at 9 p.m., and as predicted, my ex-wife immediately agreed to go to his place. That was sickening, so for 2 days before Armageddon Day, me and Boytoy prepared an ambush, and we plastered the bedroom at his place with pictures of her affairs with him, and her previous boytoys collected from her laptop and cell phones. as well as all the footage from the security system at my place. On Armageddon Day, I left home at about 8 a.m. and went straight to the bank to transfer all the funds from my personal accounts to a new bank account. I opened a week earlier because she knew about previous account details and moved 50% from all accounts we shared. Then went to Boytoy's place, hid my car, and waited at 8:30 p.m. after confirming that my ex has met up with Boytoy. I disconnected her cell from my plan, and she called her parents, telling them everything and what was about to happen. They were sad, shocked, and angry at her. I also told them that at 9 sharp, a friend of mine would arrive at their place with a box full of evidence. At 9:10, my ex-wife arrived with her baby, and as she entered his house, she tried making out with him, but he pushed her away. This confused her. He then dragged her in the bedroom and turned on the lights where I was sitting on the bed with bloodshot eyes. So yeah, you can all imagine her expression as she had a breakdown. She looked at the pictures and text plastered on the walls. I was just silent, and Boytoy began first and told her she is disgusting, and he is done with her and never wants to see her again. Then I walked up to her and handed her the divorce papers, and as predicted, she started her excuses, lying, gaslighting, and bullshitting. But I had a whole script of all that already written down. I took out the papers and started reading all the pre-prepared replies to everything. Seeing that, she started screaming. When she started, I lowered my voice and told her to shut up. That silenced her quickly. I told her she is no longer welcome at my house and to go live with her parents. They live in the same city, so they are not very far. She said I can't just kick her out. I replied that if she tries to return to my home, all of this evidence is going to her hospital next, and her previous toys that are working there will also be screwed with her. She just started crying after that. Her current boyfriend then said if I want, he is willing to testify against her in court. I thanked him. She knew she was screwed because not only was this an at-fault state, she also had us sign a prenup with a clause of adultery for peace of her mind, as she said. Well, since then she has tried all kinds of drama, but I have remained strictly in contact with her. All of her offers for marriage counseling and stuff have been ignored, and every friend she tried to rope in with her narrative has been informed of the truth with appropriate evidence. Her family almost disowned her because they are so disgusted by her actions and have literally crucified her. She still continues the drama and even tried to stalk me until my lawyer contacted her and told her if she doesn't stop, I will get a RO against her. Well, that's my story. I know I will never trust her again. And as my buddy said, loyalty is the most important aspect of any relationship. Armageddon Story 2. Hi everyone. Since 2 of my teammates wrote their stories, I will too. I took a long time writing this because I have been quite busy for some time now. And well, I am not really motivated to do so. But well, I will too. For convenience sake, I will code name my teammates. TM1. The OP of the original story. TM2. Writer of Armageddon Story 1. TM3 me. To be honest, there isn't much left to be said that TM1 hasn't already expressed in his posts. So I will just tell you about my experience on the day. My ex had 5 affairs in the duration of 4 years. I discovered this because she still had pictures with these other dudes in a hidden folder on a portable hard drive she keeps. She has always kept that drive either at her workplace or with her personal stuff. I honestly didn't even know about this for a long time, and when I finally discovered this hard drive, she just told me it was for her work data, so I didn't really pay much mind to it. Anyway, she kept these pictures and even some screenshots of her texts as some kind of sick trophy. Anyway, her earlier affairs were short-lived. I guess she got bored with them fast. But her last affair with her boss was the longest, lasting 2.3 years. Her boss is a slimy poss who works in his Phil's now ex-Phil's company. His ex-fiancée, who also works at the company, is in a parallel position to him in a different department and different branch of the same company in the same city. She is a cool lady, smart, beautiful, capable, and from what I could tell extremely loyal. During my investigation, I got a ton of data on the poss and my ex, so about a week before a day, I decided to meet with poss's ex-fiancée and inform her all about this affair. I called her at first and asked to meet with her in her office. She obliged. She was already suspecting something was up with poss due to his shady behavior, but never had any solid evidence. She was truly heartbroken. She was crying and was about to immediately call poss to confront him, but I told her not to. I convinced her to gather all the evidence and then nuke him. She agreed. She then called her father and asked him to meet in her office. He came a few hours later. After seeing all the evidence I had, he was also extremely pissed off and immediately wanted to fire him. But we convinced him otherwise. If sufficient evidence can be gathered against him, He won't get any severance and will likely get blacklisted. I then gave Pasa's ex-fiancé spyware for his cell and laptop, which she agreed to install. The evidence we got from that was even more damning than I previously thought. On the day, I made sure my ex would get home by 6, so I disconnected her from my cell plan and disconnected the Wi-Fi. I then went to my ex-in-laws at 6, met them, and told them everything. I told them about the affairs, their duration, and all of the evidence. My ex-Mill tried very hard to make excuses and told me it was a mistake, and her daughter was stupid to do such a thing and to give her a second chance, but I firmly shut her down. I told them my mind was made up and there are no second chances for betrayal. She even tried accusing me that I must have been cheating while deployed, and I just looked at her and said I had more important things to do when I was deployed, and don't assume everyone to think like you do. I told her now I get it where my ex got her disgusting habits from. She clammed up tight after that. I left a box of evidence there and went home. I arrived at 8:30, and my ex asked about her phone being disconnected, as well as having an internet connection in the home. I just calmly ignored her, giving short answers. I set up a camera in the living room as well as voice recorders. My ex kept following me around, asking what I was up to. On exactly 9 o'clock, I told my ex to sit down. I went cold and completely expressionless. I was like I was some computer-generated voice devoid of all tones. Then I told her this conversation is being recorded. I know everything about her infidelity, her lies, and her past. I have all the evidence here, and we are getting divorced. When I said all that, my ex just frozen up. She was stunned. She couldn't understand what was happening. For at least 3 or 4 minutes, she just looked at me wide-eyed, stunned. I simply put all the evidence in front of her, as well as divorce papers, which I signed in front of her, then took a glass of water. After a while, she started looking at the evidence and started trying to explain it as a misunderstanding. I told her I am not an idiot, and to stop just signing the papers and not make this any more difficult than it has to be. I told her I prefer to keep things amicable and calm, but if she tries any bullshit, I will destroy any hope of her ever having a normal, peaceful life again. She knew this was a serious warning. She then tried to gaslight, blame shift, bargain, and beg in that order. But we already trained ourselves for that crap. I shut her up and told her she has 2 hours to pack her stuff and leave for her parents. Now I essentially left no room for bullshit and excuses. I recorded everything she did around the house and had a buddy on standby just outside the door with the key ready to barge in on a moment's notice. I took her key, and she kept crying hysterically as she packed her SHT and left in her car. That was the last time I ever communicated directly with her. She has tried a lot of drama through my lawyer, calling for counseling, offering everything, even trying to give me her money. I think she was trying to bribe me. But I didn't respond to anything. She has since been fired, and our divorce is now in the final phase of the mandatory waiting period. Her parents are well off, and she is their only child, so I don't think that's a problem for her. The thing is, she won't stop trying to contact me. She won't stop trying to send me letters through my lawyer, and leaving them at my door, trying to call me with new numbers, and even involving her friends, even though most of them are disconnecting from her and distancing themselves. She must have left 148 letters at this point, but I just put them away without reading them with the gathered evidence. For some people's final meeting, telling them forgiveness, knowing the whole thing, and closure stuff is important. But to me, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I know she cheated and betrayed me. That is enough. I don't need any explanations or excuses. I don't need to know any details. I don't care if it was once or 1,000. The result will be the same complete removal of this relationship and her from my life. I learned recently that she isn't doing very well with her parents, and they have completely stopped talking with her. She just lives in a room at their place and is forbidden from doing anything else at their place, probably because her parents' rep has suffered because of her. As for her affair partner, his ex-fiancé contacted me and told me she essentially had her own version of a day on the same date with her father present. He was recently fired, kicked out of her house, and got served with a lawsuit from me and her father's company because of his crap. He had a lot of skeletons in his closet. He's not doing so well these days. And finally, as for me, well, I had a lot of painful times pre and post a day, the whole package of suffering, depression, self-harming thoughts, an emotional roller coaster, exploding rage, and crippling sadness. But now I am doing fine. I know it will take me years to fully heal, but I will heal. As long as I have my brothers and family, I will heal. We have been overseas these few weeks, but we just got back. We are currently moving to Texas and loving the new experiences. TM1 even got a new stalker who just won't leave him alone. It's this crazed woman from his previous post. But I am sure she will stop soon enough. Because we aren't the kind of guys you'd want to stalk. If you do, you'd soon start getting attention and visits from some really scary people. For everyone going through this, my advice is to keep your head high and understand the betrayal of your cheating spouse isn't your fault. It never is, not in any circumstance. It's always their own fault. It's the result of their own moral failing that causes this. No matter what excuses they give themselves, it's always because of their own weakness that they cheat. If someone is unhappy in any way from their relationship, be a decent human being and just end it. Tell your so and work with them to improve your lives. If it doesn't work out, just end it amicably. Don't cheat. If you cheat, it's because you are morally and mentally weak, and you are disgusting. Every betrayed spouse should understand that. Sorry, BTW, for writing all over the place. I am not a good writer. Update. Well, something confusing is happening. Well guys, my STBX pulled some weird stunt. I am kind of confused. All of a sudden, I am getting messages of support and messages of forgiveness and stuff from all of my, hers, and mutual friends. This happened today, so I called a mutual friend of ours to ask what was going on. And she told me apparently STBX exposed herself to everyone and literally blew up in front of everyone. Now a lot of the people we know, including her cousins, are calling and messaging me and sending me weird quotes and texts for forgiveness. I am so confused. Why would she do this? She knows I won't entertain this barrage of messages. She must know that none of these people will change my decision. So why would she blow herself up like this? Why would she ruin her reputation like this? Edit. So guys, after I posted this yesterday and answered a few comments, I went for a run to cool off. After that, I called my lawyer and asked her what this would entail. And could my STBX turn nasty or something? My lawyer said she could. But there isn't much risk because STBX already signed the documents and filed them, as well as accepting money from me as per agreement. This means she doesn't have a strong enough case, so if she tries something, my lawyer said she would handle it, so that was good to hear. Next, I called my mother and warned her about what's going on. She said she already received a few messages and calls, but she didn't entertain them. She didn't call me because she didn't want to worry me. My mom then informed me she had a talk with my ex-Sil and got the story. Well, things kind of happened exactly like Familiar Entrance 48 speculated, that apparently my STBX wasn't doing very well and her family was scared of her psych condition. So they called her cousins to come and cheer her up, take her on a trip, or something. After discovering the impending D, a loud-mouthed cousin started blowing up, got super angry at me, and started contacting STBX's friends and cussing them out that they didn't help STBX. Her blow-up on social media and calls and messages spread the news like wildfire. So to shut them all up, and to make sure they don't bother me, STBX came clean to everyone and told them all the truth. And apparently she didn't hide the facts. She told them the full extent of her betrayal, and how I gathered evidence and did full recon before Armageddon Day. Most of my friends were messaging me for support, offering to hang out, therapy, and stuff, and they cut STBX off. A few recommended forgiveness, saying it would ease my pain. Most of STBX's friends were calling for forgiveness and talking and saying I am making a very hasty decision, and I shouldn't blow it all up because of our long history. Things like that. Her cousins are circling around her according to Excel. None condone her actions and have called my STBX all kinds of names. But they are offering her their support and trying to convince me to give her a second chance. I remember whenever I met them on any family gatherings, I always got along with them. They are all very good people, so STBX's actions were really out of character for their family. And according to them, my STBX is doing everything to make amends with OBS. She even appeared in a hearing against one of her affair partners on behalf of OBS. Can that happen legally? Isn't that a conflict of interest or something? Anyway, I told them my decision is final and gave them the same boundary that I gave my ex-in-laws. If they want to be my friends, and without STBX in the picture, they are welcome. Otherwise, please get some distance now. After that, I told them I was temporarily doing NC with them all and blocked them until after D was finalized. Update. It's finally over. Well, everyone, sorry for not posting anything for a while. But I took a long break from Reddit and the internet. It was just causing me extreme stress and making me lose focus. Anyway, I am here to report that it's finally over. Divorce is finalized, papers and everything. I sold my old house and bought a new one. Same with my brothers. 3 of them are in progress. Decided to leave the military at the next opportunity and focus on business expansion in Texas. As for my ex, no direct communication. Some more drama ensued from her and her family. But there was no stopping this. They made a last-ditch plea for me to stop the D process before it was finalized. But nope, it's done now. As for me, I am fine now. I don't feel anything about it anymore. I guess I just got numb to it. No more nightmares or anything. In fact, for the first time in a long time, I am living just for myself. It's freeing, and I am liking it. I'll just stay away from romance. Now one nightmarish experience was enough. Mom also finally moved out of the old family home and put it up for rent. She moved in with my brother's family and will come to live with me every once in a while. She said she couldn't bear to be near my ex or her family anymore. They are still her friends, but they hurt her son, so yeah, she is pissed. And she can hold grudges. So yeah, that's the end of this chapter for my life, living a new chapter and loving it. Again, everyone, thanks for all the love and support. You all do amazing work for those of us who need it in the darkest days of our lives. You guys give a shining beacon of hope. And for that, me and my brothers are eternally grateful. Update. Need some advice. Hello everyone, I haven't uploaded my story here. So I'm none of the 3 who uploaded their stories. I am the 4th one. I might write my story later. But for now I need some advice. The thing is my XD is finalized is the daughter of a family friend, and they are close. I met her because my elder sister introduced us. When this whole affair came to light, they, including my family, tried to pressure me, even threatening me to forgive her and work this out. Even now that D is finalized, they keep pressuring me to get back together with her. Every time I talk to my sister or mother, they keep pressuring me and sending me messages. I had a massive blow-up fight with my parents because of this. They even said that I did all this because of my team and how they acted. I can't exactly kick them out of my life, but they are insufferable now. I love my parents, but this bullshit is really throwing me off the edge. They are the type who don't believe in divorce. Any advice on how to deal with them? Update. It's confirmed. Guess I no longer have parents. Hi everyone, TM4 again. Yesterday it was confirmed for me that yes, indeed, my parents are cheaters. Both my mom and dad did that crap. I am beyond disgusted. That's why they were taking my ex's side. They thought by forcing me and pressuring me, I would buckle and take her back. Big Fkin mistake. After they realized I wasn't responding and had effectively blocked them, they tried getting to my friends who were still in my hometown, specifically one of my earliest and closest civilian friends. What they don't know about him is that he is a man of principle. That's why we have been friends for such a long time. He has always been an ignored child and struggled his whole life to earn his place. He put himself through college, working part-time, and with the help of friends, he became an engineer. He's really well now. After seeing his success, his parents tried to do something really horrendous, and he immediately purged them out of his life. He hasn't talked to them in 8 years. Anyway, when they contacted him and tried to get him on their side, he immediately shut them down and warned all of my friend circle. They are all in my corner now. Because of this sudden drama, some things came out from relatives and their friends, and I learned about my parents' sordid past. This has made my decision final. They have lost me permanently. Thanks everyone for your insight. It's exactly like you all said. Update. A quick question. Hi guys, it's OP or TM1. I just logged in after a while, and I won't be using Reddit frequently anymore. But one of my buddies seems to have taken an interest in it, so he will be handling this account from now on. Also, I am not getting active deployments anymore. I don't think I am mentally fit enough for that anymore. So I have started the process of getting out of the military. I am focusing on business, which is keeping me busy and is kicking off. Anyways, I never actually dated a stranger before, and I am not looking for any, but I am being approached by random women frequently. It's weird, and when I reject them, they get angry for some reason. One of them even threw a tantrum in a bar when I was with my brothers. The thing is, I have developed this weird internal distrust of everyone, especially women. I know this is unhealthy. I shouldn't just distrust everyone, but I feel numb. I overanalyze everyone now, and it's making it very difficult to make new connections, even professional ones. I am going to therapy regularly, but currently they are unhelpful. So I am bummed out. I don't know what to do about this. I am no stranger to psychological warfare. I know how to deal with terror tactics, but this is something else, something deeper. I act on this distrust before even realizing I am acting on it. I am afraid I am losing empathy. What to do about this? Any ideas? Update. Almost a year update. Hey guys, OP here. It's been almost a year since that dreaded day. If someone had told me I'd be here now, I would have laughed my arse off. But life can be weird. Anyways, we are no longer in the military, fully settled in our new lives and careers. Opened up a new business with my brothers as partners. It took off quite well, and managing my elder brother's company branch in TX. Also thinking of joining college to get a degree in mechanical engineering. This all has kept me quite busy. Anyway, during free time, we were working on that book. We said we would publish it, but a lot of the responses were relevant to our lives, jobs, and situations specific to us. There are a few responses like, "You will not gaslight me into taking accountability for your own moral failure," and the like. But these were blanket responses to lots of statements and would not help in other places. Anyway, we did make a kind of rough initial draft, and we decided to run that by our old CO, now a close friend we hang out with whenever we visit. He told us not to publish because that could be traced back to us. We can't risk exposing our true identities, especially after posting our stories on Reddit. So we decided not to. But a brother of mine had an idea. He suggested instead of a book, we could make a blog where people of all walks of life and occupations could send their suggestions and input about the bullshit and gaslighting they faced. We could publish it. That would give everyone with internet access to resources to help them face this monster. A comprehensive compilation of anti-cheater scripts all compiled in one place for the betrayed of the world to access. TBH, I love this idea. What does everyone else here think about that? Another bit of drama that happened in my life. A few weeks ago, one of the mutual friends of my ex, who somehow found me in TX, came to my house to meet. He said it was urgent. This is a decent woman who my ex distanced herself from during her bullshit. Anyway, she came and met me and started with a small talk about how I was doing and whatnot. Then she said my ex is in a very bad state. She has apologized to everyone and, on more than one occasion, has been hospitalized because she stopped eating or drove in a tree. She listed a whole list of incidents that I didn't even think were possible in this short duration. According to her, she has essentially become a zombie. She hasn't been fired from her job because she is good at what she does and focuses on it. So that's something. This mutual friend then told me, essentially begged me to talk with my ex. That I have punished her enough. That I have destroyed her mentally. That I don't need to get back together with her, but at least be a friend to talk or chat once in a while or something. I told her I was never punishing her. I didn't harm her financially, physically, or psychologically. My actions were never a punishment to her. It was just me getting away from her betrayal and cutting her out of my life. Anyways, this has thrown me back in a tailspin. I was honestly doing a lot better and was starting to really move on. But now I am again haunted by these thoughts. Last time, I was bombarded with these thoughts. I busted a capillary in my left eye, suffered a massive nosebleed, and was diagnosed with acute hypertension. I had to be hospitalized for a few days, and I have to now check my BP for the rest of my life. Definitely not fit of service anymore. Sigh. TBH, I now think that my ex is just throwing a tantrum with her actions. It's a cry for attention and help, like a child with bigger toys. Or maybe I became a heartless bastard who just doesn't care anymore and sees the worst possible scenario. So what do you think about this? I don't want to ever contact her again because that would really set me back. But I need a more neutral and objective opinion on all this. Thanks. Update. Hi guys, 2-year update. Hi guys, it's been 2 years since my life changed. It's weird looking back, honestly. It feels like I'm in a dream. All of life's plans just went boom. Anyways, I'm doing good. Relatively speaking, I still get triggers of rage and overwhelming sadness, but I also feel strangely strong. I moved away permanently from the old town and have settled pretty nicely in civilian life. I miss the tension and stress of being out there, but I know it's better for me to live this calm life now. My team and my brothers are still going strong. We all deal with some occasional drama from our exes, but nothing we can't handle. My ex is still telling everyone that we will get back together, and I have to tell anyone I meet from my old town that's never going to happen. She has been trying to contact everyone, including old exobs, all now divorced, my brothers, and anyone else I know from my past life. But they all just stonewall her now. Financially, I am actually stronger than I ever was, actually much better than I thought I was going to be. Apparently, my biological brother is a business genius, and he made me more money in various ways. Then I knew stocks, bonds, crypto, etc. I was kind of ignorant of all this. Feel pretty stupid about that one. Also, the new business expansion in my new city exploded pretty fast, so it's keeping me quite busy. My team brothers invested in, and 2 of them have joined our company in various different roles. They adapted quite fast. The others have also found various other very good jobs. like high-end security advisors and such. Okay, so now for the part that I need advice with. We have been hanging out with other ex-military guys, and some of them have experienced what we have experienced. And they have adopted this no romance, no permanent relationship attitude. I am also kind of romantically dead now. So for the first time in my life, I have been doing this casual hookup scene for the last year. Honestly, I used to detest this kind of lifestyle. But I now kind of slipped into it. But I heard something from one of my brothers when we were hanging out that gave me a serious pause. I felt stuck and kind of disgusted, but at the same time I kind of got it. He said, "Women are for recreational use only." I don't even know what to say to that. On one hand, I get where he's coming from considering what we went through. But at the same time, if I had a daughter, I would be seriously pissed off at any bastard who would do that to her. I know there are good women, and they deserve respect, like my mother. But at the same time I feel cold. I don't feel any romantic feelings. I don't want to feel like this. But how can I overcome this when I can't trust anyone like that? I know this will take time. My brain needs to rewire itself. I feel like living a bachelor life. But I also miss the warmth of the sanctuary that only a good partner can make. So, my question is, what to do? How to make sure that when my brain reprograms itself, it reprograms the right way. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.